You're driving home after work, passing new subdivisions with fresh for sale signs glowing under streetlights. One catches your eye. New builds $450,000 to $550,000. Move-in ready. You slow down, snap a photo and think, these homes look solid. Good school, safe area, modern finishes. Prices aren't skyrocketing anymore, rates have stabilized, and $500,000 feels achievable. If we stretch a little on the down payment and lock in fixed, we could make it work. This could be our forever home, no more throwing money away on rent. That exact moment, when $450,000 to $550,000 starts feeling normal and doable, is the most dangerous second in personal finance in 2026. Because in 2026 to 2027, buying a home at that price level is no longer the safe, obvious step up it used to be. Millions of middle-class families have bought with the same logic, just right time, only to regret it 2 to 5 years later, trapped in house poor, losing financial freedom or forced to sell at a loss when life changes hit. The numbers tell the story. Median U.S. home price, $430,000 to $450,000, modest 2 to 4% growth from 2025 per Redfin/Zillow. 30-year fixed rates 6.2 to 6.9%, still double the 2020 to 2022 lows. 35% of first-time buyers end up house poor, spending greater than 30% of income on housing. Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies. Homebuyer regret rate up 20% from 2025 NAR surveys, mostly from not following strict rules and underestimating full costs. In 2026, home buying isn't always good anymore. If you don't follow the right rules, you risk years of house poor, lost flexibility, or financial regret. Today, we're breaking down the 8 must-follow home buying rules for 2026, grounded in real math, not realtor hype or American dream feelings. These are the exact guardrails that separate buyers who thrive from those who quietly suffer. Building on rent versus buy-in hidden costs. This is the guide for if you're gonna buy, here's how to do it right and avoid regret forever. If you're eyeing $450,000 to $550,000 listings and telling yourself, this is the moment, or if you've already bought and feel the monthly pressure building, stay with me. This could be the video that saves you from one of the biggest financial mistakes of your life. Let's get into the rules you must follow. Before we dive into the rules, let's set the stage. Why does 2026 demand stricter rules for home buying than ever before? And why ignoring them could lead to regret forever? The U.S. housing market in 2026 to 2027 is a mixed bag. The median home price is hovering around $430,000 to $450,000, growing slowly at just 2 to 4% from 2025 per Redfin/Zillow, and NAR forecasts a far cry from the double-digit surges of 2021 to 2022. That sounds like stability, but pair it with 30-year fixed mortgage rates, stuck at 6.2 to 6.9%, still double the pandemic lows, and monthly payments are 50 to 100% higher than what buyers got used to a few years ago. For middle-class incomes, roughly $80,000 to $200,000 gross household, after taxes about $60,000 to $140,000 take-home, this creates a brutal squeeze. Housing costs aren't just the mortgage. They're inflating fast. Property taxes, homeowners, insurance, and utilities, rising 5 to 15% per year in many areas, outpacing average wage growth of 2 to 4% after inflation. The risks are sky high. 32 to 38% of households are already house poor, spending greater than 30% of income on housing per Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies. If you stay short-term, less than 7 years, selling could mean a loss after 8 to 10% transaction fees eat your equity. Inflation and hidden cost, taxes spiking after reassessments, insurance jumping due to climate risks, hits faster than income rises, turning affordable into stretched. Example, a $150,000 household buys a $500,000 home. Full costs. PITI plus maintenance hit 40 to 50% of take-home, landing them in house poor territory almost immediately with little room for life changes or emergencies. This market isn't buyer-friendly, it's unforgiving. Slow price growth means less appreciation to offset costs. High rates amplify payments, and rising expenses erode margins. Without strict rules, even smart buyers end up regretting it. That's why rule number 1 starts with the basics: always calculate the full cost, not just principal and interest. Rule number 1, the absolute foundation you must follow before even thinking about an offer, is to calculate the full cost of ownership, not just the principal and interest P&I that pops up on Zillow or your lender's pre-approval. Most buyers stop at P&I because it's the shiny number that looks affordable. But the real monthly hit includes PEIT, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, plus 1.5 to 2% of home value per year, for maintenance plus higher utilities, plus projected increases 5 to 10% per year, for taxes/insurance/utilities. For a $500,000 home in 2026, down payment 10 to 20%, $50,000 to $100,000. We'll assume 15% for this example. $75,000 down. Loan $425,000 at 6.7%. P&I approximately $2,900 per month. Property taxes national average 1.1%. $450 per month, higher in states like Texas at 1.8% equals $750 per month. Homeowners insurance $250 per month base, but rising 10 to 20% per year in risky areas. Maintenance/repairs 1.5 to 2%, rule $625 to $833 per month, averaged for inevitable hits like roof, HVAC, plumbing. Utilities bump bigger home/yard plus $150 to $300 per month over renting. Full monthly cost $4,200 to $5,000 plus, often landing at $4,500 for many buyers. That's before any HOA fees, $100 to $400 or extras. The risk of ignoring this: you buy based on P&I alone, $2,900. Feels okay, then get slammed by the full load, landing in house poor from day one. Taxes reassess up, insurance spikes, a $15,000 repair hits, and suddenly you're stretched thin. Compare to renting a similar home, often $3,000 to $3,500 per month in the same area. The $1,200 difference invested at 7 to 9% compounds to $200,000 plus in 10 years. Liquid wealth that could cover emergencies or retirement. This rule connects straight to our hidden cost discussion. It's how you avoid them up front. Run the numbers with the full spreadsheet or tool like Bigger Pockets. Include 5 to 10% annual cost inflation. If the full cost greater than 35 to 40% of take-home walkaway, no matter how perfect the house feels. Rule number 2 builds on this. Always aim for a down payment of 20% or more to slash your loan and risks. Rule number 2 is non-negotiable in 2026. Put down at least 20% or walk away until you can. Why 20%? It eliminates private mortgage insurance. PMI. That extra $100 to $200 per month or more you pay when down payment is below 20%. PMI doesn't build equity, it just protects the lender. More importantly, a larger down payment shrinks your loan size, slashing principal and interest P&I and total interest paid over 30 years. Real example for a $500,000 home at 6.7% fixed 30-year rate, 2026 average 10% down, $50,000 loan, $450,000 to P. and I approximately $2,900 per month, plus PMI $100 to $200 to total $3,000 to $3,100. 20% down $100,000 loan, $400,000 to P, and I approximately $2,560 per month. No PMI to savings of $340 to $540 per month right away. That $340 per month difference compounds over 30 years. You pay $122,400 less in payments, plus tens of thousands less in interest. A bigger down payment also gives you instant equity cushion. If the market dips 5 to 10%, you're less likely to be underwater owing more than the home is worth. The risk of low down payment less than 20%. Larger loan leads to higher monthly P&I, leads to easier to fall into house poor if rates rise, taxes spike, or income dips. PMI adds unnecessary cost until you reach 20 to 22% equity, usually 5 to 10 years. Less buffer small equity means higher risk in downturns or when selling early. Advice: if you can hit 20% yet delay buying and save aggressively for 2 to 3 years, live lean cut non-essential side hustle. The extra down payment is one of the highest ROI moves you can make. It reduces debt, lowers payments, and protects you from the biggest risks in today's market. Rule number 3 ties directly to this. Even with a strong down payment, location matters more than ever. Choose growth areas to make appreciation work for you. Rule number 3, buy only in top 15 to 20% growth markets. Areas with proven sustained price appreciation of 4 to 6% per year or higher in hot cycles over the long term. In 2026's environment, with slow national price growth 2 to 4% and high rates, appreciation is your main defense against rising costs, taxes, insurance, utilities. If your home doesn't grow faster than inflation plus expenses, you lose ground every year. That's why location isn't nice to have. It's the rule that separates winners from regretters. What are the top 15 to 20% markets right now? Areas with strong job growth, tech finance, healthcare limited, supply population, influx Austin suburbs, Texas, Raleigh, Durham / Charlotte, North Carolina, Boise, Idaho, Nashville suburbs, Tennessee, Phoenix, Outer Rings, Arizona. Select coastal pockets, for example. Parts of San Diego, Tampa, example for a $500,000 home in a strong growth area, appreciation 5% per year. Realistic in these markets, value hits $800,000 after 10 years. Loan paydown plus appreciation leads to equity, $300,000 to $400,000 plus after fees. This offsets hidden cost taxes / insurance up 5 to 10% per year and builds real wealth. Risk of weak or average areas, Midwest flat markets, declining Rust Belt towns, or overbuilt suburbs. Appreciation 0 to 2% per year leads to home value stagnant or drops. You sell after 5 to 7 years, arrow transaction fees 8 to 10% wipe out gains or create loss. House poor becomes permanent because no equity cushion to help. This rule connects straight to our rent versus buy discussions. Buying only wins when appreciation is strong enough to beat renting plus investing the difference. In weak markets, renting is almost always better. Advice: research job growth, population trends, supply constraints. Use Redfin / Zillow data, local economic reports. Avoid cheap areas with no upside. They're cheap for a reason. If your desired spot isn't in the top tier, delay or rent. Don't buy hoping for miracles. Rule number 4 builds on location. Maximize your edge by house hacking from day one. Rule number 4, house hack aggressively if at all possible. Turn your home into an income-producing asset instead of a pure expense. House hacking means buying a property where you live in part and rent out the rest. Duplex / triplex single family with basement, ADU accessory dwelling unit, or even renting out spare bedrooms long term. The rental income covers 50 to 100% or more of your mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance. slashing your real out-of-pocket costs dramatically. Real example in 2026. Buy a duplex for $550,000, common in growth markets like Raleigh-Austin suburbs or Phoenix. Live in one unit or a portion, rent the other for $2,000 to $2,500 per month. Realistic rents for 2 to 3 bed units. Your full PT plus maintenance might be $4,500 per month, but rental income drops your net cost to $2,000 to $2,500 per month, often cheaper than renting a similar single-family home. Bonus tenants help pay utilities and you build equity while someone else covers most of the bill. If you can't do a full duplex, start smaller. Rent out 2 to 3 bedrooms in a single family, $800 to $1,200 per room per month. Build or buy with an ADU granny flat. Many cities now allow them with fewer restrictions. Risk of skipping house hacking. You pay full freight, $4,000 to $5,000 plus per month with no offset, pushing you straight into house poor territory with no buffer for repairs or life changes. Advice: research local laws. ADU permits short-term rental rules, landlord-tenant regulations. Start small if you're new, rent rooms first to test the waters. Treat it as a business. Screen tenants, set clear leases, budget for vacancies, 10 to 15% of rent. House hacking isn't just nice to have. In 2026's high-cost market, it's one of the few ways ordinary middle-class buyers can make ownership cash flow positive instead of a drain. This leads straight to rule number 5. Build a massive emergency fund before you ever close. Rule number 5. Build a true 12 to 18-month emergency fund before you sign anything, not the usual 3 to 6 months most people aim for. Owning a home amplifies every financial shock. Repairs aren't optional and they hit hard. A standard 3 to 6 month fund, $15,000 to $30,000 for most families, is nowhere near enough when a $20,000 to $50,000 surprise lands, roof, HVAC, foundation, plumbing disaster, or even job loss while paying a mortgage. You need 12 to 18 months of full expenses, including your projected housing cost, in liquid accessible cash, separate from down payment or closing costs. Example for a $500,000 home buyer: full monthly costs, PAT plus maintenance plus utilities, $4,000 to $5,000. 12 months equals $48,000 to $60,000 minimum. 18 months equals $72,000 to $90,000 ideal. This fund covers major repairs, $15,000 to $50,000 without credit cards or retirement withdrawals, taxes, plus 10% penalty. Job loss or income dip, 6 to 12 months to find new work in today's market. Insurance spikes, tax reassessments, or unexpected life events. Risk of skimping on this: one big repair or layoff. Forced credit card debt, 18 to 25% interest, HELOC, more debt, or selling at a loss. House poor becomes a death spiral, debt piles up, stress skyrockets, equity erodes. This rule connects straight to our hidden cost series. It's the only real defense against the when not if surprises: repairs, insurance jumps, tax hikes. Advice: build it aggressively before shopping. Cut lifestyle side hustle, sell stuff. Keep it in high-yield savings, 4 to 5%. APY in 2026 or short-term treasuries. Liquid and safe. Once you own, never dip below 12 months. Replenish after any withdrawal. Without this buffer, even following every other rule can still end in regret. Rule number 6, lock in long-term fixed rates. Don't gamble on ARMs. The truth is, most home buying regret in 2026 comes from skipping or half following these rules. Here are the 5 biggest mistakes that turn smart buyers into house poor victims or forced sellers, often within 3 to 7 years. Mistake number 1. Chitin PNI Bo Qua full cost. Buyers see $2,900 per month on the lender sheet and think that's affordable. Then taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities push real costs to $400 to $5,000 plus. Result: house poor hits immediately. No buffer for life. Mistake number 2, down payment thap dui hai mui fan trum. Putting 5 to 10% down to get in now means larger loan, plus PMI $100 to $200 per month, extra plus higher P&I. A $500,000 home with 10% down loan, $450,000 P&I $2,900. With 20% loan, $400,000 P&I $2,560. Savings $340 per month forever. Low down equals higher monthly burden leads to house poor faster if rates or costs rise. Mistake so ba chon kuvak tang trung yu huak trung bing. Buying in flat or declining markets, many Midwest towns, some Rust Belt suburbs, means Kongdin high fun trum appreciation. After 5 to 7 years, you sell to 8 to 10% transaction fees, $40,000 to $50,000, eat all gains or create loss. Strong growth areas 4 to 6% plus offset costs. Weak ones amplify them. Mistake number 4, Kong house hack. Paying full freight $4,000 to $5,000 per month with no rental income to maximum exposure to hidden costs. Duplex or ADU could cut net cost 50 to 100%. Skipping this equals full house poor burden with no offset. Mistake number 5, Qui du fong yu dui moi hai thang, $20,000 to $50,000 repair or job loss leads to forced debt credit cards. HELOC or retirement rate taxes plus penalty. Debt snowball makes house poor permanent. Real example. A $150,000 household ignores these rules, buys $500,000 with 10% down in average area, no house hack weak fund. After 5 years, house poor stress plus repair hits, then sells at small gain or loss after fees, then hoihan nangni matudo vatin back. These mistakes aren't rare, they're standard. Follow the rules to avoid becoming another statistic. Now let's wrap up with the final takeaway and what to do next. Buying a home in 2026 isn't automatically a win or a loss. But if you follow these 8 rules strictly, you dramatically reduce the chance of regret. Full cost calculation 20% plus down payment. Top 15 to 20% growth location. House hacking 12 to 18 month emergency fund. Long-term fixed rate lock. No emotional decisions. Ongoing review, reassess every 2 to 3 years. Ignore them and you're likely to end up house poor, cash strapped, or forced to sell at a loss, regretting it for decades. Final advice, combine all 8 rules. No shortcuts. Use tools, Excel spreadsheets, Bigger Pockets calculator, or Zillow's affordability tool, but always add 1.5 to 2% maintenance plus inflation buffers. Consult a fiduciary financial planner, not a lender or realtor if numbers are close. Get unbiased math. If you can't meet at least 6 out of 8 rules comfortably, delay buying. Renting plus investing, the difference is often better short-term 5 to 10 years in today's market. Home buying is a massive decision, one of the largest financial moves most people make. Follow these rules to make it a win, not a lifelong burden. Financial freedom isn't owning a house. It's controlling your cash flow options and peace of mind. Don't let a bad purchase turn your home into a financial anchor. So where do you stand? Which rules are you already following, or are you tempted to skip one? Drop a comment with your situation, household, income target, home price, city/metro, down payment, saved current rent if renting. I'll give you straight feedback on your risk level and whether you're on track or need to adjust. Thanks for going through this full guide. This isn't hype, it's the real 2026 math to help you buy or not buy without regret forever. See you in the next one. Make decisions that build freedom, not chains.